Hey guys, today's video I want to show you driving in the Philippines and some of the scenarios you'll run across when you are driving. Today we have an appointment in Antipolo. It's in Rizal. We live closer to Tanay, which is also in the province of Rizal. And Rizal essentially is an extension of Manila. So we'll go through cities, a lot more congestion than you would typically in a province area. Not saying there's not congestion in some province areas or what have you, but when you get in the little cities, there's a lot of different scenarios. And to be quite frank, you need to be a really good driver and anticipate a lot when driving here in smaller cities to big cities here in the Philippines. So I'll get going and show you some of the things to look for. Okay guys, for the record, it's 25 kilometers and it says it'll take an hour to get to our destination. I'm using a Waze app, which is pretty good here in the Philippines. So first little obstacle, little construction going on here with an open trench. Only one way on a pretty narrow street as it is. Just kind of got to wait your turn. So here we are on the National Highway. There's a trike, pulls out. Not a problem. It's 2 lanes. They're doing construction. You'll see this a lot as well. Trying to widen the road. But what's funny is these telephone poles will stay right where they're at. They'll have a lane there. So here's a scenario, happens quite frequently. You get stuck behind a trike, you have your one lane, you can pass when it's available. But the one thing that's really odd is they never kind of move over for you. They know they're backing up traffic and going slow, but they just won't yield to the right, or a lot of them won't. Some of them will. It's kind of cool, but I mean, you see there's area on the side to let me pass, but they just stay here. So that's a frustrating scenario. Not unsafe, you're just going really slow. So here's another tricky scenario. We're coming up to a 4-way intersection. More times than not, there's no traffic police, and you just kind of gotta bulldog your way through this. What really sucks is when you're turning left or right. We're going straight on this one, but I'm just gonna keep edging my way until I get close enough to where I can just keep going. As you can see, the trikes here on my left, just squeezing in and doing whatever, but it's kind of I mean, it works surprisingly, but it's just kind of chaotic. So behind a trike again. Now I could pass, I could go over to the right, but there's usually something in your lane. So if you don't do it quickly, you're kind of screwed. Like I said before, it'd be nice if the trike would yield and get over so you could pass them, but you're just kind of forced to stay behind them more times than not. So currently we're in between cities, so this is what you'll see, a lot more wide open. But you'll still have trikes, and then they'll slow you down again. This guy's yielding, but I have cars on my left. Here we go. It's a good guy. So I mean, it gets wider sometimes, but then when they put a second lane in or whatever, there's a tree right in the middle of it. They just leave it there. So when you get closer to the city, you'll get stoplights. And they're usually like, I don't know, it always says like 100, it goes by seconds, and it gives you like 100 seconds before the light turns. So the only drawback to that is at night, you sit there and there's really nobody doing anything, but laws are, I don't know, they don't enforce laws. If no one's around, you can just go through a red light. They don't really care. Look how tight it is here. I'm going to pass this guy, but it's still kind of wouldn't be on a bicycle in some of this traffic. It's crazy. This kind of trips me out there to the right. You always see open trenches. I mean, if you ever have to veer to the right, you'll get like an open trench. It's like you better be careful if you're hugging the white line there. I haven't seen anybody go down those yet either, surprisingly. Another bicyclist maneuvering. Little bike lane, it looks like, which is good, but still, it's just kind of tight. Everything just keeps moving. No matter how hectic it is, it just keeps moving. Here's one lane, and then there's a guy parked half the lane. So you have to navigate. You're not going to see this in other countries unless somebody's broke down. They do have little signs: slow down, accident-prone area. It's just nothing. To me, seems like nothing's really enforced. And I don't want to say it's wild, wild west. Another tree in a lane. Might as well be a vehicle parked there. I'm not saying it's wild, wild west, but it's just kind of accepted. Everybody kind of knows the yielding rules. And if you're getting a license here, if you have a valid license from your country, it's good for 90 days. But if you're retiring here and you plan on driving a motorcycle or car, you have to get a license. And that can be a task as well. I know some people just prefer to pay public transportation, trike, jeepney. Speaking of jeepneys, there's one. Sometimes they sit in a lane for a long time waiting for their jeepney to fill up. Public transportation, trike, jeepney, taxi, they have Uber type stuff here. I think it's called Lyft. I don't know, I forget. I've never used it personally. But I don't know. Some people, you really have to have the right mindset to be able to drive here. I'm not saying like I'm an expert driver. I think I'm pretty good, but there's obstacles everywhere you turn. You're going good in traffic, and then all of a sudden everything just stops, right? You got to yield, let people cut in front of you, and do whatever. Anticipate people walking out and right in front of you, right? Crosswalks, always pay attention. There's always somebody ready to cross. And you'd be surprised, so many people do not yield for the pedestrian. When you're walking in the Philippines in traffic, you're putting your life at risk. But I've never seen anybody get hit. It's just kind of how it is. There's another person who wants to bulldog their way, but they stopped. They kind of fake you out too. You think they're gonna come in, and they just stop. But if you don't stop, so sometimes people just keep going, right? It's like you kind of got to edge towards what if versus not being sure. You get these big old trucks that go super slow. Actually, some of them go super fast, to be honest. But you're just kind of held hostage until the traffic opens up again. That's why we're going 25 kilometers to get to our destination. And it takes an hour. So 25 kilometers miles wise, I kind of cut it in half. Just say it's 12 miles. And it takes an hour. That would drive people nuts anywhere else in the world. The one thing too is like, if you need an ambulance in the Philippines, I mean, sometimes I don't even see people yielding for ambulances, which is really bizarre. I mean, I know it's in their traffic rules, and I do see people get out of the way. I certainly do when I see them coming. But, you know, see how this guy bulldogging his way. But most just kind of, and I see people when they do kind of yield for the ambulance, there's like a bunch of people behind them going as fast as the ambulance, taking advantage of that sped up traffic situation. But you know, when you're in traffic like this, an ambulance trying to get somewhere to help you, wow. Be healthy if you're gonna live here or live close to a hospital. But this is very, very common. We're probably I don't know, 15 kilometers from the city of Manila, so as you get closer, you start getting more and more of this, more and more congested. And what's today? Today's a Saturday, so it's really not as bad. But you know, you saw that motorcycle come in, just cuts across, no biggie. Sometimes it's kind of good because when it's heavy traffic, I know in America where I'm from, nobody's going to yield and let you in. They're going to make you wait. Here, a lot of heavy traffic, you just kind of bulldog your way out in the middle and someone will let you in. They won't hit you. They won't road rage on you. Although I have seen some road rage here, some people are just crazy. And most of the people that are really crazy are the motorcyclists. They're in and out all over the place. And then again, I haven't really seen that many accidents. I think when I do see accidents, they are motorcycles, but they're far and few between. I just haven't seen a lot. You know, I'm not commuting all the time, but I drive enough. Surprisingly, it's controlled chaos. But at the same time, you still, like, see, I got an edge by this guy with other cars coming. But people just kind of let me go into their lane a little bit because they know I'm going around somebody. Road work. So this little windy road is always a challenge because there's that big truck we saw earlier. Kind of backs everything up. It's 2 lanes, but you have these sharp hairpin turns and really steep uphill. And then people trying to pass, and then, you know, another cyclist. I'm gonna pass this guy and let this guy go in front of me. At least he had his blinker on. Their K-rail is some type of block cement, but same purpose, I guess. There we go. Well, there's someone stopped again. Just saying, no matter where you go, there's some type of scenario. I mean, the more you drive, the more these scenarios don't look quite as bad, but tell you, when you first drive here in the Philippines, it's going to be an eye-opener. But like anything else, you get used to it, and you know, you just got to be a defensive driver. Period. 16 minutes, 3.4 kilometers. So we got just a little over 2 kilometers to go. Around 10 minutes. Pretty much hit the heaviest traffic, but in general, just a little bird's eye view live from my car. Kind of how the traffic works here in the Philippines and the type of scenarios you can get into. There we go. There's a little bit of twilight action and heavy traffic. You'll see motorcycles darting in and out of every lane. Cars straddling over 2 lanes. This guy, I guess, is coming into my lane. No blinker, no nothing. And I just got to get used to it. Look at all these motorcycles. They're just like weaving in and out. No such thing as a lane. At least here, there's some K-rails. Gas station. Gas stations are cool because they pump the gas for you. And if you need air or something, they'll put air in your tires for you, no charge. But yeah, night driving's the worst. You'll see people without headlights. Just a little harder, obviously, to see people. You always got to make a hole for someone turning in. This guy's sticking out in the roadway. Where, you know, everybody's nut to butt here. You gotta let a guy weave his way through right in front of me. And he's making a U-turn. There you go. Anyway, you guys, I'm gonna cut it off here. It's driving in the Philippines, day and night. Anyway, if you can, like, subscribe, and see you on the next one.